My name's Mark McMillan. I'm a Wiradjuri man, which is a part of New South Wales, which is in the southeast of Australia, where you see Sydney, and there's the Blue Mountains. Wiradjuri country is on the western side of the Blue Mountains. I am thankfully employed by Melbourne Law School, and it's Australia's oldest law school and Australia's top ranked law school. Now, understanding that there are only 7 Aboriginal people in the whole of Australia with doctorates in law. We are a bit of a commodity, so where we fit into the Australian legal landscape is very different than, and you've got to understand our history too. 25 years ago, Aboriginal people, 25 years before that, weren't even allowed to go to school, or were limited to go to grade 9 or grade 8. So it's been this generation that's been allowed to finish, not only that, go on and do different things. So it's not unsurprising that there's an opportunity now, and it was a good fit, and it's a dream job, and the beauty is I'm getting access to people that as a mere mortal outside of the building I wouldn't have had access to, and to be able to go into their office, open the door and say, I don't really agree with 5126 of the Constitution. How do you feel about it? Oh, Mark, it's this, and then, no, I think you're wrong. But the one thing that is constant, I'm getting access to affecting the way other people who are going to teach future politicians, lawyers and judges that the law affects Aboriginal people intimately. So, and it can be used as a great exemplar of how the law can work and how the law shouldn't work. So I think that has been why it's a dream job. The reason Arizona was chosen was for Rob Williams and Jim and I. Their work is internationally renowned, and I had the opportunity to meet Rob when I came over here with my old boss, who was a Harvard graduate, and she had Rob's class at Harvard. She was the first Aboriginal to graduate from Harvard Law School. So there was a synergy, and just Arizona, there are so many Indigenous nations here, and truly nations, that conception is still in its infancy in Australia. So Arizona was a good fit, but primarily it was Rob and Jim that gave me the interest to come here. But once I got here, the world changed, kind of. It changed for me because of the environment, but when you got here you saw a different picture. There was not just the law school itself, but there was Robert Hershey and critical race theory, and then there was linkages to American Indian Studies and Native Nations Institute. And all of these things together gave such a broader scope of understanding of what was truly going on across Indian country in a theoretical way, but also in an insanely practical way. And Rob, you know, sovereignty is not something that can be granted. It's lived. You just do it. And I mean, it's that Nike approach. And I think to watch other people go through a metamorphosis that I did, the beauty of coming here was they challenge you as an individual. I mean, I've always known who I am. What Arizona changed for me is the way I actually gave that a different voice now, and I could understand nationhood for me. 10 years ago in Australia, or even 15 years ago, we talked about ourselves as Aboriginal people. Now there's a very different conception. I'm a Wiradjuri person, or somebody's Yorta Yorta. We've taken that indigeneity out of things, and you're proud of where you come from now. And not only are you proud, it's given other people in my community a different voice as well. So, and it gave me much more confidence to go back and infuse myself in my own community. Since going home, I'm now on the board of my Aboriginal Land Council. And I don't think I would have done that had I not had the experiences here, because I can understand nationhood in a practical way. It truly was remarkable, to the point where I knew I wanted to come back. And so then when the opportunity, after I got the Fulbright, to come back and do the SJD, and again, another experience which was so totally different from my first one with the LLM. You know, 6 years had passed, and 6 years of growth, 6 years of growth in the program too. I mean, having Melissa Tatum supervise me was truly one of the gifts. And I can go back to Australia now and I have, with such a different understanding of how I look at things again. The first thing is the people. it's the lifelong friends. But the second is Melissa. Had I not had her for the doctorate, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have the voice that I have. But what she was able to get out of me, and still does, was a sense of not just belonging in the academy, but the ideas that we came up here are practically relevant, and they all are also of the highest order. So those two things, the people, my peers, but Rob and Jim and Robert Hershey aside, Melissa changed my life, and I will always, always be grateful for that.